Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show host or the guest are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie. I thank you for joining today for this week's episode of Managing Self, which I share with you, listeners, some of my personal experiences of how I manage my relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis, which I've been doing pretty much for the past almost 2 decades. During this time, I have had ups and downs, and I've definitely fallen down. But I know what keeps me on top of anything that MS throws my way is the fact that I've gotten up one time more than I've ever fallen. So not just physically fallen, but also mentally. You know, sometimes things can be rough, but I know that I'll continue to again get up. You know, every time I fall down, I'm going to get up one time more than I fall down. I'll continue to do this, and I'll never ever let MS defeat me, whether it be physically or mentally. And you know, if I don't know if you've heard any episodes before, but one thing I use as far as some of my arsenal to beat MS and to not to be defeated by MS is to have fun. Fitness is a big part of my life. Working out, eating healthy foods, and engaging in healthy activities, and not engaging in those that are not healthy. But staying away from stressful situations if possible, and enjoying time with my family and friends. So all these things are, it's ironic because I think all these words that start with the letter F: family, fitness, friends, fun, food. I love to eat good food, but some people look at F words as bad, but I look at these F words as good things. And like I said, these are things that I consider my armor, my battle gear to battle MS and to never be defeated by it. What a pleasant, most welcome surprise my husband had for me a couple of weeks ago. He well, first of all, it wasn't a surprise like your friends pop out of the closet on your birthday, or I guess a surprise like when he proposed to me with my engagement ring on the pizza, or pardon me, on the dessert that I didn't see because I was all focused on the food. But it was a surprise nonetheless. Last Saturday afternoon, I was doing my usual at the gym, getting my early morning / late afternoon workout in. I like to get to the gym early so that I can get in and get out quickly. Well, quickly for me means done before 1 or 2 o'clock p.m. So I was doing this at the gym, and for me, my workouts consist of, particularly my Saturday morning workouts, is an hour of lifting weights. After I complete about an hour of cardio, fasted cardio, and basically fasted cardio means that I basically get my 5K walking in on an empty stomach. So I don't eat breakfast before I start, and during this hour or so, I can get a 5K and basically maintain a moderate pace on the treadmill for an hour and covering a distance of at least 3.1 miles. I plan ahead, keeping me stress less. I always say there's no stress-free existence, but I try to keep myself stress less. And I know the gym is often crowded when it's really early. People get in there, and parking spaces are pretty far and few between. But I know that the crowd thins out in the late morning or the early afternoon, when the group classes are finished, and they basically get out of the gym. I guess they're going to have lunch. So I said I plan ahead. I know that this is the pattern. And so what I do is I walk. I get on the treadmill and do my walking to steer clear of all the foot traffic that's going in and out to the classes and whatnot. and then I lift. And like I said, I don't eat breakfast beforehand, but I know that I can get into the gym, get my workout started, and lift and lift weights, basically taking advantage of my full energy tank, my personal energy tank. In the mornings, I'm pardon me, in the mornings I'm operating at 100 it seems like 101% of energy. So I take advantage of that and get into the gym and get this out of the way, because I know that my energy is going to, like most of you out there, is going to decline throughout the day. But I also make it work for me because I know that my working out kind of rather vigorously, it's going to I'll develop let's say a voracious appetite. I'll be pretty hungry while I'm working out. So during the process, I'm also, which probably many of you may know, that I'm always thinking about food. I love food, but while I'm working out, I'm devising my brunch plans during my gym visit. So I'm either thinking of what I'm going to cook or where I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. And like I said, probably no surprise. Anyway, my husband texted me that morning during my deadlifts. I was just finishing up my set, just dropped the 155 pounds to the mat, and I read the message. The message that was relayed on my smartwatch. And I thought the vibration was me when I sort of dropped the weights on the mat, but actually it was just my wrist kind of buzzing that I had a message. So I dropped it and I said, okay, that's my wrist. So I look at my watch, and I see my husband's name there, and it says, we have reservations on the beach. Well, okay, for almost 20 years, I think my life has been a beach. But I just replied, okay. And I followed up with him later to see what exactly he was talking about. Well, it wasn't a complete surprise because, of course, my husband knew that he had to get quote-unquote clearance before scheduling a trip with me on the beach. I do live in Texas, and it's pretty hot here. And let's see, less than 2 weeks ago was the official start of summer, the summer solstice. But we had actually been experiencing triple-digit temperatures for almost a month now here in Texas. But not just the heat factor, but he also understands my scheduling, or I like to say my lack of scheduling way of life. He did ask me the week prior. He said, what do you have going on next week? And I checked my calendar and I said, well, nothing's really written down. He wasn't being presumptuous. Like a lot of folks tend to be, they figure, like myself, there's other folks who don't have a 9-to-5 full-time job, so they think, we just have time on our hands to we're available for anything, whenever. But unfortunately, that's not the truth, because even though we don't have a 9-to-5, our time, I'd say our non-sleepy time is limited, and what we choose to do during our hours of non-drowsy or non-sleepy time may not be what someone else would consider critical or so important. But myself, I know that the things that must get done, they will get done, and it may not be when someone else may choose to get them done, but I know that I have to get these things taken care of, and my husband does know that as well. That's why I thought it was really sweet that he did check with me before pursuing making the reservations. He got the green light that, okay, I'm in, let's go for it. So he understands that my lack of planning or lack of scheduling way of life is how I manage my MS. I don't like to get stressed out about stuff and over plan things like that, because if things don't happen, that kind of stresses me out. So I'd rather err on the side of I'd say conservatism as far as not planning, or shall I say under promise and over deliver. That's kind of how I like to do with my planning. So I don't like to promise, oh yeah, I can make that event, I can do this with you guys. So I'd say I don't know about that, or I'll see how I feel. So I like to pardon me, under promise and over deliver as far as planning goes. So that was how this whole beach thing started to unravel. But like I said, I don't really plan much except for my once a month infusion, which I've had over 100 at this point. So nothing was on the calendar. So I was already mentally packing to go to the beach. All right, allow me to clarify about my planning that is, or my non-scripted lack of a scheduling way of life. Sure, I plan. We all plan, or we have plans of even just our day-to-day routine or activities that we hope to get accomplished. But my planning, like, I don't know, I guess let's see, what do I plan? You know, I would like to work out 5 days a week, but I do understand that life happens. Kind of like MS happens. MS happened or began for me almost 2 decades ago. At that point, I was 20, 25 years old. Yeah, I was 25 years old, and I had no idea what was ahead. I didn't know that I would lose my vision. I'd lose my hearing actually 3 times. I wouldn't be able to walk. I would stutter. I would drop things. I couldn't drive at periods of time. I didn't realize I would go through all this before I was even 30 years old. But I did, I experienced all that before I was age 30. So I kind of like when I said earlier about when my husband said we're going to the beach. And I was like, yeah, life is a beach because my life had been a beach. And back in 1998, when my MS symptoms onset, um, I never thought I'd be on a beach or even want to be on a beach, but I did understand the meaning of that phrase, "life's a beach." It's basically a riff on the phrase "life's a B," blank 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 ch. Uh, you guys know what I mean. But it basically means that life can be difficult, life can be unpleasant, and by saying life is a beach, you're kind of taking that negative and turning it into a positive, I guess more picturesque, more pleasant um, phrase, or a reality, or not reality, but maybe a hopeful, I call it. So I don't know if that's a word, but that's what you're trying to do, turn the negative into a positive. And this is kind of, well, it's a lot like my personal way of thinking. I often look at things in a positive light. I know there's always negative there, but I try not to focus on that. I always say I never focus on my disability. I only focus on my abilities. We all have abilities that are unique to us, and just because you may not be able to do something that a lot of people do or can do, there's things that other people can't do that you can do. So I know with me, I only focus on my abilities and never on my quote unquote disability. So I never look at the glass as half empty, but I always look at the glass as half full. So as we drove back from our short excursion, um, we're listening to some music selections that I had selected, and pretty much I selected the music since I wasn't driving I don't know, about 300 miles my husband had to drive, but I tried to find some relaxing, enjoyable tunes that he could listen to and maybe sing along to, um, while, of course, I napped. In between my naps, I would come in and go in and out. But when I wasn't sleeping, we probably had some brief discussions and talked a bit. But I am aware that I did doze off from time to time. And during those times, I'd say I did a bit of reflecting, self-reflecting. So hubby started to croon or sing. Um, I believe it was in sync with Harry Connick Jr. To the tune, "If I Could Give You More." He would look at me, that is, my husband would look at me. He looked at me and he was emphatically singing the lyrics. "If I could give you more, I'd fill the house with flowers, let you sleep for hours." Ain't that the truth? Uh, he knows I'm at my best when I do sleep a solid 10 hours or more at night. And my husband knows that doesn't even that 10 hours of sleep does not preclude me. Doesn't preclude me from needing naps throughout the day at any given point. But naps that I know that I can kind of stave off if I keep moving. If I keep moving, well, I can't sleep probably. But many of you listeners out there do understand exactly what I'm talking about this level of MS fatigue, to which I'm referring to, that not even a full night's sleep can beat. And some people think, well, don't you take medicine, kind of keep you up, things like that. Well, yeah, I do. But my anti-fatigue medicine, it helps me stay awake. But I know, for me, it sure doesn't prevent me from going to sleep. So, um, thus, easily I can sleep 10 hours a night. Even if I take my medicine, it's not going to keep me from going to sleep, which it may be that way for some people, but not for me, not at all. Yeah, hubby definitely lets me sleep in for hours, um, pretty much never interrupting my sleep at all. He tries to be super quiet if he gets up and has to leave out at night for work, and he minimizes any disruptions to my sleep. For instance, like in the morning times, he just minimally lifts my eye mask. I sleep with an eye mask, keep everything dark, but he lifts it ever so gently and just little bitty peek of my eye, so that when he kisses me goodbye, as he heads off to work, I can see him, and I barely open my eye at all, and he'll go ahead and put it back, reposition it on my face, and he realigns the cover so that I can continue my slumber for the day, which my sleep generally, I'd say, lasts until about his lunch hour. So it's now brunch time for me. Of course, that's not the only time I sleep for hours. Of course, at night in bed, I do sleep for hours. And in the car, like I said, I was in and out dozing. But another time I would sleep for hours is after dinner. Seems like after dinner, I'll get really tired, and we'll go sit on the couch watching TV, and I'll wake up 2 to 3 hours later. Literally, I've missed every episode of whatever it is I thought I was watching. I didn't watch. So, my husband's kind of sitting there immobilized because I'm laying on him and he can't really move without waking me up. So, again, he's really patient. He just sits there until I wake up, which, like I said, oftentimes it's been 2, 3 hours or sometimes even more, and we'll wake up and then get ready for bed, and then I would sleep for an additional 8, 9, 10 hours. So that's letting me sleep for hours. Let's see, the car, the beach, the bed. Let's see. Oh, the beach. Oh, that's right, the beach. We're talking about the beach. So sleep for hours. Actually, I was like, okay, we're going to go to the beach. And my husband loves me. He actually brought me to the beach to relax. He's fully aware that the heat makes me tired, very tired, and that sunlight literally zaps my energy. I'm talking, I can't even keep my eyelids open sometimes when just getting sunlight in my face, on me, burns my skin. But sunlight zaps my energy. He knows this, but he took me to the beach to relax. And, there I was in my string bikini with, SPF 50 sunblock, and got me a new wide brim hat to keep the sun off of me. But unfortunately, the wind was very, very strong, and the gusts kept taking my hat off. So I actually held the hat and just sat there in our in the new chairs that he purchased, so that we could sit and watch the waves, and listen to the crashing sounds of the water, which was just like we listened to the night before we went to the beach. We just walked walked up and down the beach, but we heard that soothing water, that relaxing water sound. So, and the night before was just like an impromptu stroll we took after dinner. So, like I said, the day we decided to go on the beach and sit there, We just kind of taken in that relaxing sounds of nature, and you know, we didn't. It was sunny, so it wasn't the moonlight reflection that we were enjoying, but it was plenty sunlight. And again, he knows that the heat does get me, but I was able to. I The heat got me. My hat kept getting blown off, so I took the hat off, and he says, "You want to lay down?" And I was like, "You know what? Sure, why not?" So I put the towel down on the sand, and I laid there, and sunglasses on. I started to. Well, I went to sleep, of course, and yeah, I think I woke up and I looked around and he was out in the water, but it was funny because he knew that I would be comfortable. He could tell when I was sleeping, and I guess the sunglasses were similar to the night mask or the night shade where it kind of keeps everything dark. But I literally was laying there in the sun, and it was warm. It was relaxing, not cold. Um, I don't like the heat, but the cold hurts more, I believe. So I was literally laying there just sunbathing, getting a tan on the beach. Um, I don't think it was hours, but it was enough to get a pretty significant tan. So here I am sleeping for what could have been hours. Yeah, that song, If I Could Give You More, it still echoes in my ear, from the drive home. Um, I think about it, and I'm like, you know what? Quantity doesn't mean as much, or quantity isn't as valued to me as quality. And I say this with regards to our recent excursion because it was only a few days. Like I said, my husband and I went down a few days, midweek. We didn't even say the weekend, but I appreciated it, and more so than ever, I believe in my quote unquote my motto, which is I've been saying this for years: appreciate the negative. And it's something I used to just say in the gym as far as my workouts and performing the exercise, but something that's transgressed or spilled over into my everyday life, particularly regarding my managing of my multiple sclerosis from day one. When my MS symptoms onset back in the fall of 1998, from that day I knew that things didn't, or I realized things didn't go as planned, which is why I don't like to plan too far ahead. But when the MS symptoms onset, I didn't even know what was going on, and I learned that, well, there's going to be some things that are going to prove harder for me than for other people. I knew that I couldn't probably even consider any longer playing in the local racquetball league that I had considered, because every time I had an MS episode where I had to stop play, let's say timeout or play suspension or something like that, because my episodes consisted of the locking up of my, pardon me, the right side of my body. I couldn't even move my leg or my arms, and I couldn't play racquetball like I used to. But I did have to be flexible, and I had to be anything but stay bummed or saddened or disappointed about the unexpected things that did occur. Um, Note that I didn't say never get bummed, because like I said, it's like I never say stress less or stress free life. I always say a stress less life. So I understand that sometimes we may get bummed out or a little down, but for me, it's most important to never stay in that state of mind. We may be down for a minute, but please, I ask each of you out there, please try not to let yourself get sucked down into that state of a dismal state. But think of the positive things, and think of what you can do. There's things that you can do that other people can't do. So think of the positive and look at the good side of things like that. So don't stay bummed out about unexpected stuff that occurs or even stuff that is expected. And today, I guess that's my challenge for you today is to um, think of each day, think of all the things that you do appreciate. If it's just one thing a day, just one thing, think about that, reflect on that. Don't sit there and think of, oh my God, I can't run marathons like I used to do or something like that. So You know, I got one for you. I could sleep for as many hours a day as I want to. I couldn't do that when I worked, of course. You know, I couldn't wake up at 1 o'clock. It probably was, no, that was very unacceptable. Pardon me. Excuse me, I'm tongue tied. That was very unacceptable in corporate America. However, today I can sleep till 1 o'clock if I want to with no negative ramifications. So, again, as the week goes on next week, I ask each of you to reflect on things that you are appreciative of and things that you can do. Remember, life can be a B. You know, a B. Let's just say, remember, we're going to focus on positive things. So, life, remember, this is true. Life can be a B. Life can be a beach. Life is a beach. Let's look at your life as a beach, nothing more. So, I don't care what the popular phrase was in the 70s or early 80s, whatever it was, but I know me personally, my life's a beach, and I'm going to enjoy it. You know, even if it's sandy and windy and the water's blowing or what have you. If it's hot, life's a beach, and a beach is a pretty thing oftentimes. And I'm gonna choose to focus on the positive things. Um, this is Dawn Melanie. I thank you for listening this week. I hope that each of you out there will also do the same. Look at life and look at the positive. Thank you again. Hope you'll join me next week.